Hello and welcome in. I am MissKinghorn and we are back here in The Sims 4, and today we are building, weirdly for the very first time here on YouTube, in Britechester. This is like one of my favourite worlds, and yet for some reason I've not been here for years. Anyway, we are actually working on a 20 by 15 lot. This originally was the Honeydew Fields residential lot. I have converted this into a small business, kind of run out of home build. Yeah. And so yeah, that's what we are doing here. You can see the kind of shell of this is coming together already. Now I have got two retail kind of shops downstairs. One is a coffee shop come bakery, and then the other one is a bookshop in there, and I thought the two worked really well together. And yeah, then there is a 2-story 2-bedroom 1-bathroom apartment house, I guess it's an apartment, upstairs as well for the family that lives here. So yeah, that's kind of what we're working on, but we've gone for a really nice sort of colours. It's really soft, really nice, and I figured, given the fact that it's in from the Welcome with Discover University, we would have lots of students here. It would be that kind of hub where you would sort of go for your study sessions and things like that, and maybe picking up your coursework or your books or something along those lines. That's what I had in my mind. But the pink building is the coffee shop, bakery, kind of cake shop in there, and then the yellow and blue one is the bookshop. It's actually slightly bigger. I did not realise how small I had made these until we got inside the coffee shop. It is so tiny inside that it was a bit problematic, but we'll show you that in when we get inside. But yeah, windows and doors, I really wanted to use as much from businesses and hobbies as I sort of possibly could, because although I've built with some of the items from that pack, some of them quite a lot, I haven't really done too many businesses. So I really wanted to kind of set the year off doing something a little bit different, and I haven't really done too many commercial buildings last year. There was one or two here or there, but I figured let's start the year off doing something like that into here. And we have lots of fun things coming for 2026. It's this year, well, last year has gone so quickly. I feel like I said that like 3 months ago, and yet a whole year has gone through. But anyway, you can now see all of the windows are in. These front windows, I moved them, I changed them, I'm not overly happy with them, and yeah, they're one of those items where I'm gonna move it and it's gonna be an absolute pain, but yeah, I'm not happy with it, and my pickiness got in the way in here. But yeah, now dealing with some roof details. I really wanted one flat roof and one kind of pitched roof in here, and I feel like these two sort of townhouses kind of work in there really nicely with each other. And obviously we do have chimneys and things like that coming through, just to add a little bit more detail work to the very top. And you can see I'm now placing some details on the front here. So although we are on a road, I actually wanted a bit of a street scene out here, and yeah, I was trying to save some money and using these debug fences. It was not working, so I actually just went and used the real version of this. And then the sort of coffee shop has ones with little twinkly lights on them, and I thought they were perfect for what I really wanted into here. And you can kind of feel, although they're not very tall, these buildings, they kind of fit in there really nicely, and contrasting colours and doing bits and pieces. So the yellow and blue work quite nicely, and then the pink and like the white, and it's like a really soft creamy wood, they all come together really nicely in there. And then this is one pack or kit that pulls this whole thing together. This is the Bestow kit. Again, not a pack I've really used, but I realised that they had this big sort of sign on it, and I thought that would be perfect for these. So annoyingly, they are both the same sign of the two different businesses in here, but we actually do place a business and hobby sign. You'll see that in a little while. But I thought this just provided a really nice sort of detail along the sort of front into here, and yeah, it just rounds it off. We do obviously use a lot from that kit for like the coffee shop and things like that, so we make sure that we don't just use one item from a kit, because that's so annoying. Like, I know I have a majority of the packs and I just build with what I want to pull out and what I want to put into any build and what I think would work. But obviously if you don't have all of the packs, that can make some builds completely useless. So I do like to tell you when a pack is really useful to one of my builds. So like businesses and hobbies. Obviously this could go into New Nordhaven. That's absolutely fine. I just wanted to build in this world. And that's what we've done into there. But as I said earlier, you can see I've taken some more of these sort of tables and chairs, because the indoor section seating wasn't that many. I had to put in a few more outside as well, and I think it just sort of, like, you know, in the summer maybe you really do want to sit outside, maybe have like your studying group out here or something, rather than being inside where there is really not room. So yeah, and then we have the door to the sort of upstairs apartment around the back here as well, and then just a little bit of hedging. There's no like private garden or anything. There really was not space. I just kind of kept a little area, I guess, that is not commercial, I guess, in there for them. But then I did also want to create a bit of a street scene, as I said. So we've got the bench, we've got a few planters, we've also got the bikes, because I feel like you wouldn't drive to this. You would live in this sort of world that feels quite small, especially I think it's based off of the UK and some of our university towns. So they're very small, tight-knit little groups. So that's why I thought bikes in here would really, really work. So yeah, I wanted the two businesses to feel like they work together, but also be separate, independent businesses. So that maybe your Sims don't run like each business. The family that obviously lives upstairs, maybe they just own the bookshop, or that they could just own the bakery. That's kind of what I was thinking, and then somebody else owned the other one. Obviously when you set up a business in the game using the business venue, it makes everything all part of the business. So I have kind of had to work out what works and what doesn't. One thing I did learn: don't tell your customers to read, because I spent ages when I was playtesting this picking books up, because yes, there are books in the bookshelves that we get in, and if there is one bookshelf that has 100 books in, there is like 3 others that have none in, because yeah, everybody was putting books out and they were just dumping them everywhere. Throughout this entire lot there was books and I couldn't be bothered to put them in all of the bookshelves. I just dumped them all into one, so sorry about that one. Anyway, your Sims can't actually buy the bookshelves, which is super annoying. Because obviously I have done this with business and hobbies. If I did it as a retail lot, I think I maybe could have set them to be for sale, but you know, I didn't. Obviously if you want to change it to be that is perfectly fine. In that you can play however you like with that. Okay, so now we're going to jump on into the interior, and this is where I said things get a little bit tight. So because we have this interior staircase that goes up the side here, it just means that this building is now even smaller on the inside, which would be fine if I didn't have such grand expectations for the space. So I know I wanted this sort of booth seating kind of area along the front. I did want two tables and chairs there. it wasn't going to work. Unfortunately, one of those had to get the job. Anyway, so yeah, I've also brought in some of the tables from outside. We do actually get 2 of those in here. So yeah, there's 3 tables inside, 3 outside, but yeah. And then yeah, we wouldn't be able to get it side straight on. So what we've ended up doing is creating a bit of an L shape here. We have like the cake stand area, which when I was playtesting this, I did actually get the family to bake loads of cakes and stuff. So you can buy all of those in there. And then I also use this shelving unit, which I think is designed for the bathroom, but it kind of continues on looking like it works part of the counter. So I just thought it'd be more sort of space in there. And now we're going to sort of clutter up these back sections. Loads and loads of plates and cups and things like that, because I feel like this is a place where they would serve a lot of coffee, and I really wanted something along those lines to come in. And so yeah, other bits and pieces, we've got like some magazines, maybe you can have like some that have been left or something in there and they've just been put back there. We've also got some little, what I'm calling coffee pots. I tend to place them near like coffee machines when I do houses or teapot machines. They kind of feel like your salt, your sugar, your salt, your coffee pot, something along those lines into there. And now we're just using some more clutter, mainly from the kitchen essentials, because that's really what I want this to kind of feel like, and also the kitchen sort of cleaning supplies down there as well. I do tidy a little bit of that up as well. And then coming in, we're getting some cushions on this sort of bench seating. I figured that would be a really nice spot to sit down and have a meal or have a slice of cake and a coffee or something, or study into there. And then because we've got these sort of subtle hints of pink coming through this, I figured some nice pink set chairs would work really nicely. And then I also come over this side and I wanted a big board, like blackboard kind of chalkboard, with lots of like the recipes, the like pricing for whatever into there. And so we've got some of those in. We've also got some more of the boards that come with the bestow kit. They kind of work in here as a little bit of edging, a little bit of signage, maybe for like a event taking place locally or a charity event or something along those lines could work into there. And then I've also put in a few more bits of clutter on those showing. And now we're going to jump over into the bookshop. Now I do this bathroom in here. This is the only bathroom in this whole sort of like commercial area downstairs. There is obviously another one upstairs in the house, but yeah, I felt like it was so small that we really only needed one, even though it's technically 2 businesses. And I forget, because I'm an idiot, to record the staff area around the back. Yeah, my bad. I just totally forget all about it. You may actually see it when we go into doing the main bit. It should have been filmed just after this, but something happened, it didn't, and then yeah. Anyway, now we're moving on to the actual shop in here. This is the bookshop. I wanted to go for a little bit of a modern feel in here, so I pull out a historic bookshelves. Anyway, I really wanted this would be quite modern, quite open, quite airy, and quite sort of a nice space. So what I had in my mind for this is that maybe it's a collective of authors, like 3 or 4 authors who have all sort of teamed up together, and they've kind of got this bookshop, and maybe they write, and then like one of them is always sort of manning the shop, I guess, and so that they can kind of keep it all themselves. And it's a really nice sort of bougie, kind of a modern, very nice space to be, I guess, is kind of what I'm saying into here. That's kind of what I had in my head when I was building this. So we've brought that blue in, the table legs are blue, and I think it actually just really works in here, and it's a really nice fun sort of space to be in. And by placing these pedestals in front of the windows, I felt like it just added a really nice sort of viewpoint that you can sort of have a look from the outside. Obviously it's a little bit further back from the road that you may not be able to see them as you're driving past, but you kind of get the idea that what I'm trying to do in here. And then using these bookshelves, or these shelves of books, was such a cool, fun idea. I actually didn't think about this first of all. I was going to put plants on them, but sort of figured that one out and really enjoyed that one. And now you're going to see I make another faux pas. Yeah, I have this whole section of kids' books, and that's fine until I realised you can't buy them because one, they're on a table, you can't buy them, and two, they're not actually technically on the table. So the only books you're able to purchase, or anything you're actually able to purchase, is the 4 objects that are on the pedestals by the front doors, and also I have some more bookshelves or some shelving full of books that you'll sort of see later on. And this whole middle section, yeah, no, you can't buy them. Unfortunately, Business and Hobbies only allows you to buy items when they're on certain shelves, and it is such a weird thing. So it's like when I said earlier on that this pack would work better with Get to Work and retail. Yeah, that's what I mean. It's, yeah, because there's so much of this that should be sellable and yet really isn't. So yeah, it's one of those things where I had to make some sacrifices of gameplay for the sake of sort of reality into here. These ones I do put out nicely on there. I feel like whenever you walk into a bookshop, they've always got these sort of podiums full of books. Like there's big long tables that are just jam-packed full of books, and that is really what I wanted this to sort of look like in there. And now these are the other books that are available, because these are on the shelves that you can buy stuff from. So I fill out quite a lot of these in kind of a bit of a hodgepodge of going through trying to figure out where I want them to be into there as well. And yeah, I did not realise until I was doing this just how many books and different book covers we actually have, because I wanted every book to be kind of unique and different and look completely separate to each other. So yeah, that proved to be fun in here, and trying to pull out all of the books that we could possibly have into here. And then we do also get in some other clutter and kind of more stationery items, I guess you can say, in here. So we've got these little pen holders in here as well, and I feel like they kind of all work in there as to kind of what you would buy. You would buy your pens, you would buy your bookmarks, those sorts of things. I feel like journals and notepads and stuff like that kind of all work in this sort of bookshop theme kind of idea that we are working on in here. And then I knew we had these open sort of shelving, so I kind of figured what's better, more books into here as well. So we also get in some games because I feel like they also go hand in hand, and yeah, just make for a really nice little corner open bookshelf in there. Maybe they are books that are not for sale, maybe they've been put behind, or like online orders or something that somebody's just gone and collected and they're not ready to be sort of processed yet, or something along those lines into there. But now in the big tall stacks of books, I do come around and change all of the colours because they were looking a little bit samey into there, and I was thinking of more books, but no. I got a really nice comfy reading chair, and I figured that would be the perfect place to kind of snuggle in and read a book, which is probably not what you want in a bookshop, to be fair, but you know, it is what it is. Into there, oopsies. And then we get in a little bar stool around the back here for whoever is like manning, sort of working the sort of register come kind of checkout area into here. And I figured like underneath all of this you would have like all your bindings so that you could like seal up all of them and package them all up in like craft paper when you buy them and things like that. I thought that was a really nice touch, and I'm trying to get in some different lights as well, and yeah, just sort of adding little touches here and there to everything. So now we're going to jump up to the upstairs area. As you can see, I have brought up that bookshelf. I really wanted it. It's one of my favourite bookshelves, but it just does not fit in this kind of modern build here. So yes, it does go into there. But as soon as you walk up, we have this kind of little cubby. I felt like shoes would fit really nicely in here, for sort of the three of them in here, and then lots of sort of storage boxes, puzzles, jigsaws, that kind of thing, and just sort of everyday entrance clutter, because there's not really anything downstairs in terms of like clutter or space for them. So this is kind of the family's entranceway really into here. But where I said downstairs was really small, upstairs they're the same size, but this one just feels so much bigger in here, to the point where the rooms were a little bit too big, if you know what I mean. Like it was just, yeah, OTT in here. But anyway, I really wanted to go for a bit more of a modern look with obviously the interiors downstairs and bringing them up into here. I feel like a really nice modern kind of family home in here. We do get out these gorgeous pieces, sort of sideboards just in there. It's just a fun way to actually block out some space, because I didn't put anything on them, but it just takes up tile space where this room felt way too big. So yeah, we've got a 3 and a 5 seat, 2-seater, equals 5, here into here, and then I wanted somewhere for the TV to go. So I thought in this sort of nook here at the bottom of the stairs would be the perfect place. That obviously leads up to the 2 bedrooms and 1 bathroom that we have up there. And yeah, I knew I was going to have a little kid in here. We followed up with a pink from downstairs and just brought that all in. I don't really necessarily have a gender for the kid in mind at this point, so I just kind of kept it a little bit more neutral, and then figured this is like the kids corner, so let's add the height sort of scale on here. I mean, who doesn't remember that from being a kid? I definitely had one in my childhood home when I was growing up. I think it was the kitchen doorway. But anyway, lots of posters and crafting bits and pieces that they've done in here. Also got the oars out. Maybe they just spent their honeymoon as a couple canoeing around some lakes or something like that, and they've just kept them on me monumental from that time, something like that. It was just a little story, personal touch into here. And I really wanted this pink flower. It was just too big. I think we end up putting it on the floor in the end, and it gets moved and shuffled around a few more times. But now we're going to jump over to the kitchen. Now this in itself feels way too big. In here I actually managed to get out a huge island for this. Yeah, it's like, for the size of this house, it really did not need such a big sort of kitchen space, but I had the room, so why not? I could have added in maybe another bedroom down on this floor, but it just did not really work for me. So we can see I have jumped ahead and placed all of my normal go-to clutter, and yeah, we're just going to place all of that where we really need it to go. Now obviously we have the bakery downstairs, so I felt like scales and bits and pieces like that were going to be important in here, because I feel like they would make the cake up here, take them down to sort of sell them into there. For some reason my counters here on the island, they broke, and I ended up having to replace all of them. I don't quite know why or what happened, but yeah, anyway, that became an issue and a thing. Anyway, cut most of that out. And now we're just picking out colours into there, as I want it to be kind of a commercial but also a sort of normal kitchen for a family living here. There's not too many upper cabinets, there's just this corner, because I really did not have the space for them with the windows. And now we're going to move over on to the sort of dining area in here. Yes, you can use 3 of the 4 bar stools on that island. I mean, you could use all of them, you just have to move one that's at like the angle in there. They feel way too far apart and it's unrealistic. So I just had to move them out a little bit more into there, but keeping with that sort of the pastels that we've got going through here with the pinks and the blues, which I absolutely love, and I really don't do too much in this sort of colour scheme, and I really should do more of it. So yeah, we're going to now bring out even more books because, you know, why not? We finally get these in over here. It feels a little bit better in there, and then I have loads of empty space, you can see here, so we end up getting in the a desk space. It just felt like a better kind of area. Maybe they're one of the authors that I said about earlier, and they had kind of this space and just decided we can create this bookshop in there. That was kind of what I was thinking of in there. It's not really a dedicated office space, it's kind of just in the family room, but I felt like maybe one of the parents goes to an actual job, and so they're kind of home alone. If somebody else is manning the shop, they can kind of come up here and do some writing or something along those lines. And now we're going to jump up onto the next floor where we've got a nice little reading nook. I really like this little sofa, and I don't think I've really used it too often. And then the kind of block sort of building table in there. I absolutely love it, and I really should use it more often. And it's one of those objects that I feel is a little bit too big in there, like the cupcake machine. I surprisingly enough did not add that to this build either. Anyway, we're now working on the kids' bedroom. So following on with the pastels in here, I fell in love with this big rug, and I actually have scaled this up, but it's kind of got this soft sort of rainbow kind of pastel colours all over it, and I thought it would really work. And then the bedding and the bedside tables and furniture and stuff all kind of worked really nicely in here. This is where we're going to get a little bit girly. We're going to get in some horses and some unicorns and stuff like that. And yes, we do paint this pink because why not? This whole build is pink into there. Now I do notice at one point that we have chimneys on the roof, but we have not put any fireplaces in this build. Now I actually placed 2 of them now on this level in here. They don't go any further, so they're just in these sorts of bedrooms up here. But yeah, we end up getting these out, and yeah, I just make them a little bit more of a feature of the rooms. So we get rid of the bedside table and place the clutter that was on the fireplace. It's kind of like a fake fireplace, there's no actual fire in it, so it's more just for decoration than anything else into there. And now this is the parents' bedroom, which means we are coming up to the end of this build. As per usual, you can subscribe to my channel, it would mean it so very, very much to me. And also follow me on pretty much all social medias. The links to those are down on my link tree, which is in the description. Just check that out for more pictures, more builds, more information and things like that. And yeah, you can join me next Tuesday for another brand new speed build into there. But bye for now, everyone.